Hey, folks, today's episode brought to you by one of our favorite sponsors. That's sunsetlakesebede.com. And right now, our friends at sunsetlakesebede.com know that it's not always easy to be thankful these days, with Thanksgiving just days away. The weather is getting colder, at least in these parts. The days are getting shorter, more darkness, both metaphorically and literally.
Great.
They're going to be so happy with this
Yeah.
read. But how can you make it a little easier on you? How can sunsetlakesebede.com show how thankful they are for this audience? For Brian, who is single-handedly maintaining their entire lifted tea business.
Could have used one this morning. There's a lot of news I had to get to.
Holidays are coming up. And right now, Sunset Lake wants to say thank you by giving you a gift. What is that gift? You can save 30% site-wide when you head to sunsetlakesebede.com. Use the code FRIDAY25. That's the word Friday and the numbers 25, no spaces. They got everything you need to chill out and catch your breath this holiday season. Tinctures that help you with sleep. Gummies to make you feel a little more social. With a little touch, say. What else they got? They got smokables that won't make you bug out. Maybe they'll just relax you. Of course, if you want to bug out, you can mix it in with other smokables. But they have keef, they have pre-rolls, they got flour. They have all sorts of great Sebede products. Coffee infused with Sebede. Fudge infused with Sebede. They got lotions. Super important right now if your skin dries out this time of year, like myself and my son. Mm-hmm. These are also great gifts. People love getting Sebede gifts. Tinctures, introducing it actually, like weirdly, like it's a great gift to give to your parents or like
Stocking
stuffers, but also like it introduces them to the world of a Sebede. And of course, the lifted tea. A great way to get through the holidays with your family, believe me. Head on over to sunsetlakesebede.com. Use the code FRIDAY25, and you will save 30% on all their wellness products for people and pets. They also have Sebede for pets. And if your order is over $125, Sunset Lake is going to throw in a free citrus-flavored 750 milligram Sebede tincture. Sale ends December 1st at 11:59 p.m. That means you got a couple more days. That's it. See their site for full terms and conditions. Put the link in the podcast and YouTube description. Check it out. sunsetlakesebede.com. Now time for the show.
The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
The destiny of America is always safer in the hands of the people than in the conference rooms of any elite.
Sam Seder.
They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
Ever get the feeling you've been cheated?
It is Monday, November 24th, 2025. My name is Sam Seder. This is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, some progress reported in Ukraine-Russia talks. In Geneva, we'll see. It's cutting out Europe and coming at Ukraine's expense. Meanwhile, on Friday, Mamdani runs circles around Donald Trump. This, in the wake of a DSA vote, Chiase reportedly drops his challenge of Hakeem Jeffries. Meanwhile, also on Friday, Marjorie Taylor Greene announces her resignation, not retirement, but rather her resignation. She's going to leave January, 12th or something like that. 5th. And the Republican House is now in complete chaos.
Yum, 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 yum.
Doge. Remember that? Well, they've imploded. They are no longer exist 8 months before the end of its mandate. And a lot of them are lawyering up. Trump to propose a 2-year ACA subsidy extension as the deadline to pass a said extension is about 4 or 5 weeks away. Tyson Foods shuts a major beef facility in Nebraska town, making 1/3 of the town unemployed as of 6 weeks from now. Democrats consider ranked choice voting for their presidential primary. Supreme Court revives Texas racial gerrymander, at least temporarily. North Dakota reinstates permanently an effective total abortion ban. Israel kills 24 more Palestinians overnight during the so-called ceasefire. And the Trump regime to up its efforts to overthrow Maduro government in Venezuela. All this and more. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us at the beginning of the week. It is
Fun Day Monday.
Fun Day Monday. Where'd you go?
Well, I was just using all this and more on today's program, but you got distracted.
Oh, all this and more on today's program,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen. I did get distracted. Somebody was asking what Nebraska town it is, and I can't remember off the top of my head. But I will get to it in the stories as we go. Quite a bit of news that took place just literally like hours after, not even hours after we left the studio on Friday.
Yep.
A lot of people did emergency broadcasts over the weekend, and we did not.
We did not, no. It was Friday afternoon. We were off doing our thing, but it was beautiful to watch Zohran Mamdani run circles around Donald Trump from afar.
It was fantastic. We will talk more about that in just a few moments. The plant is located in Lexington, Kentucky. My understanding, the population as of like 2023 was 10,000, and the Tyson plant employs directly over 3,000 people. Now, I don't know how many people sort of worked, like, their business was a function of people working at that plant. I imagine you got 3,000 people working in a plant. There's probably a diner in the neighborhood that is making money off that. There's probably food trucks that are making money off of that. I mean, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like that town is, it's going to be toast, it seems to me.
That's Lexington, Nebraska, which I did not know Nebraska had a Lexington.
But we will, didn't I say Nebraska?
I think you said Kentucky.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's Lexington, Nebraska. There is a Lexington, Kentucky. There's also a Lexington, Massachusetts. I imagine there's a Lexington in every state, except for like Florida. I wouldn't think there would be. It just doesn't sound like a Florida. No. We will talk about that later in the program as well. Hope everybody had a good weekend and that their team became, the first team to win 10 wins in the NFL.
Now you care about it.
Now, exactly. It's true. I'm a total fair weather fan.
Must be nice.
It is. It's actually great.
Hey.
Go from dynasty to dynasty. Whatever. Hey, look, let's just forget about it. Forget I said anything about
Sports
it.
are the best when the weather's fair.
Yeah, exactly. Who wants to sit out in the rain and cheer? Listen, I went through the Victor Kiam years.
Do you want to get to the news?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's do that. As you know, Thanksgiving is coming up, and that means a lot of people are traveling by airlines.
Yeah.
Now, there's like small sniggly stuff that the Biden administration did that seems sort of small, but had like a direct impact on the quality of people's lives. Some of that came in the context of transportation, and that is rules to protect people who are flying. You'll recall, or maybe you don't. We underwent 40 years ago now, I guess, more deregulation of the airlines, despite the fact that the airlines themselves didn't want to deregulate. And what that did is it supposedly was going to spur the development of a bunch of like smaller airlines, and they were going to service all people. It was going to be cheaper, et cetera, et cetera. Well, it turns out that really didn't happen. And it did, and then it just sort of went away because invariably, without any antitrust protections, et cetera, and just capitalism is going to seek profit and not necessarily provide service that would be helpful to everybody, but they're going to just seek the most profitable routes. Airline regulation insisted that certain airlines fly and service these areas, despite the fact they may not be as profitable in some areas, but they would get then in return a more profitable route, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things that's also happened is the service on airlines has gone down dramatically. Now, one would expect, I thought there was going to be more competition, but no, it was basically a race to the bottom. And one of the small but meaningful reforms the Biden administration put in that was supposed to kick in shortly was that if your flight is canceled, which completely screws you over, unless there is like a very specific, weather situation that would have caused it, the airline would have to compensate you.
Right.
Can you imagine that there would be, it's hard. I can understand why an administration wouldn't impose that necessarily, because there's some political challenges to it, I guess, in terms of like big money. But can you imagine actually like having an administration reversing it? Well, imagine no more. Here is a former reality MTV. What was it?
Yeah, Real World
star.
alum, Sean Duffy.
Sean Duffy explaining to you what happens in the real world. In the real world, you get screwed, and it's best for the country.
I want to ask you about something else. During the Biden administration, there was this push for greater passenger rights. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to have the airlines compensate people, give the money if there was a delay, if there was a cancellation. But that is something that the Trump administration has said they do not want to do.
Well, we took a more common sense approach to it. If your flight is canceled and you're flying through Newark and you're stuck here, well, we think the airline should actually refund your flight or put you up in a hotel, give you a meal. But if they changed your flight number and it's going to fly at the same time, that doesn't count as a cancellation, and they don't have to refund you. And so we just want to have the right balance between the airlines.
Pause
and
it for a second. I just want to be clear. The idea that they would change the flight number, I suspect, was not what the Biden administration was talking about. There is a difference between your flight gets canceled and you're stuck midway through a trip, that your connecting flight gets canceled, you're stuck midway through a trip, and obligating the airline to pay for you to stay overnight somewhere, which I think was already existing as far as I recall. Yeah. And there's only one other option. It's either that or they just change the flight number and the flight's leaving at exactly the same time.
Who's
Those are the two things.
refund for that?
Those are the two things that happen. Just like you get stuck in Newark in the middle of a flight, or they just change the number on you. There's no other scenario where you're stuck, where the flight is delayed for 2 or 3 hours because they decide to get rid of, or it's canceled because they decide they didn't sell enough. They didn't sell enough seats on it, and they can't. They're not going to be profitable enough.
Well, and people should know that the airline lobby is one of the most powerful lobbies in Washington. And there was some speculation that that gang of 8 Democrats who ended up caving on the government shutdown were being heavily influenced by the airline lobby. And it sounds like Duffy is just basically regurgitating their talking points now on air.
Let's just go back a little bit. I mean, because this is impressive. I mean, this
You need a balance.
You really. It's common sense approach.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to give flyers any type of compensation. It's common sense. You don't. You
But
don't
can't you
in any
hear
way inhibit corporation.
Yeah,
Oh,
can't you hear a
totally.
lobbyist saying that and he just repeats it?
Totally.
Common sense approach.
Fund your flight or put you up in a hotel, give you a meal. But if they changed your flight number and it's going to fly at the same time, that doesn't count as a cancellation, and they don't have to refund you. And so we just want to have the right balance between the airlines and the passengers. And you all know that if you have all these passenger rights that are dinging airlines left and right, some where they should be dinged, but sometimes they should not be sanctioned, well, just the price of tickets are going to go up. So what is the right balance? And I think the last administration, the guy that sat in the seat was trying to run for president. I'm not running for president. So what I'm doing is saying, how do we have the balance between the airlines and the passenger and make sure it's fair for both?
You know what he is doing instead? There's an article in the New York Times. Sean Duffy wants you to stop wearing PJs on the plane.
We got sound for you.
Oh, we do. All right.
Also, the idea that Buttigieg was running for president means that he has to listen to people, and Duffy's not running for president, so he gets to listen
Right,
to
exactly.
I mean, this is part of
lobbyists.
the good stuff that Buttigieg got as transportation secretary, and some of which it seems like he's kind of slapdashing together and taking credit for as well, Duffy. But yeah.
And it should be noted that they're like protecting the profitability, which is to say how much money these companies can kick back to investors, as opposed it's like when they try to claw back all this money.
They're getting dinged.
Something I didn't know, in 2019, 400% increase of in-flight outbursts by passengers. 2021, 1 in 5 flight attendants faced physical incidents. You want to change that?
Yeah, so Donald Trump talks about the golden age of transportation, the golden age of America. But the golden age in transportation truly begins with you, the traveler. Right? And so if you think, you just watch social media, you have brawls at the baggage claim. You have passengers berating gate agents. We have unruly passengers on airplanes. People dress up like they're going to bed when they fly. I see people getting on airplanes and they're having a hard time taking their luggage and getting in the oversized or the above bin. Help people out, be nice, be courteous. And so we want to push people as we come into a really busy travel season. Help people out, be in a good mood, dress up, bring civility back to travel. And I think everyone's experience is going to be that much better.
Wait, but if you dress up, you're going to be more uncomfortable.
Well, here's the point, though. Here's the point. It is true. Like, I remember flying in 1975, and like people would dress up. But the seats, the distance between the seats, honestly, was like 6 to 12 inches more. Like when you are shoved into an airline, as if it was like you're in the hull of a transatlantic ship, okay?
Like on a C-130.
Then of course you're going to do anything to make the experience less painful. I mean, this is the thing. And there's a reason why there's so many outbursts. It's because people are completely agitated by their experience at the hands of these airlines.
Or it's just moral degeneracy, Sam. Have you considered that it has nothing to do with corporations taking advantage of you and exploiting you and packing you in like sardines? Yeah, it's the fact that
slapping on lipstick and smiling.
Yeah, right. It's because women have their hair up in ponytails.
But
like
to get back to his whole thing about it's going to raise ticket prices if airlines are held to account for the way they treat their passengers. U.S. airlines had $4 billion net profit in the second quarter of 2025. In the second quarter. I'm sorry, $4 billion in the second quarter. Now, maybe some seasons are a little more profitable than others, but just in the back of the napkin math here, we're talking a $16 billion net profit. And they get away with putting people into these like sardine cans. And then you've got Patrick Duffy telling you, or Sean Duffy, sorry, I got my TV
Easily
stars mixed up. You got Sean Duffy telling you, like, the idea is, hey, maybe dress a little nicer. Incidentally, I imagine he goes business class every single time.
Oh, yeah. Where you can stretch out your legs in the suit. I mean, Sean Duffy, so this is what it says. They started a new campaign on Wednesday that he called The Golden Age of Travel Starts With You, complete with a 1960s-style public service announcement that spliced together scenes of the country's first air travelers dressed in suits and hats, with present-day clips of in-fight brawls and airport meltdowns. In the background, Frank Sinatra sings "Come Fly With Me."
Let's bring back airline regulation.
Exactly. In the 1960s...
Do you understand that if you went on a 747 this was as late into the 70s, maybe even the early 80s, I don't remember, that on a 747 they had a second level of the airport, you could go up in a lounge. In a lounge. And you go just to hang out there. Really, like, it's insane.
I know.
It is. Like,
I know.
Like, you do that? Like,
have you ever smoked on an airplane?
I was like 12 when there was still
That's
smoking
Sam's
on an
dream,
airplane.
though.
Yeah, no, I did. No, of course not.
I mean, I'm sorry, just really quick story on this. When I was flying back from LA on Sunday morning, like it was 4 hours. I was in the window seat and I had to crawl over the guy to go to the bathroom. I waited for a long time and his wife was in the middle and she was like, "Oh, like you're going to wake him up." I'm like, "Okay, well, I got to go." And I just think, like, but Sean Duffy looks at that as like, that's the problem, because I was in leggings and a sweatshirt. That must have been the situation, or it could have been that I couldn't get out.
There's
of
only
this
4
aisle.
inches between
without crawling over the stranger.
between the seat and the back of the
Yes.
other seat. I mean, it used to be, honestly, just like riding in economy was just like you could shuffle through like you can at a stadium seating. Right. It's just insane. They did have when I took a train across the country in the mid 90s, and they had a smoking car, but that was it.
Next stop they're gonna make us wear diapers.
Exactly.
So you don't have to move at all.
There's going to be a tube that you just. Okay. First couple of words from our sponsors, and then we will talk more about this Mom Donnie visit to the White House, and also what he had to say over the weekend about Hakeem Jeffries. First, a couple of words. Let's be real. Our diets this time of the year, I mean, frankly, for some people, all year round, all the parties, the get-togethers, aren't always the most, let's say, balanced, as it were. Enter Ritual. It is the obsessively researched multivitamin. Ritual's essential multis have the nutrients most of us don't get enough from food, all in their clean, absorbable forms. No shady additives or ingredients that can do more harm to your body than good. I take a Ritual multivitamin for men over the age, like an older age one. But the big thing for me was always like, I'd go to the doctor and he'd say, you have a problem with your vitamin D. Mm-hmm. You need more of that. Particularly as you get older, because it has like anti-cancer properties or associated with whatever it is. And I would go to I just did this so many times. I would leave my doctor's office. I would go to like a pharmacy. I would buy vitamins. I would take them sporadically until I ran out, and then I would forget, and that was it. The thing I love about Ritual is that, they have all the vitamins you would want, but it's gentle on the stomach, so you can take it any time of the day when you think about it, as opposed to like, because if I don't, I wouldn't. And they get you on subscription, and they source everything, so you know where it's coming from. And here is the upside, too. It is Ritual's Black Friday sale is here. Science-backed multivitamin for men 18 plus with high quality and traceable key ingredients in clean bioavailable forms. Vitamin D3, that's a big one, to support normal muscle and immune function. Omega-3 DHA to support heart health and brain health. They're essential for men 18 plus. A multivitamin contains 10 key nutrients in 2 delayed release capsules that are designed both for optimal absorption per day and to be gentle on the stomach. Essential for Men is third-party tested for heavy metals and clean label project certified, so you know you can trust what you're putting into your body. Ritual multivitamins are vegan, non-GMO, project verified, gluten and major allergen free, and made traceable. It's HSA, FSA eligible with seamless checkout experience, so you can save when you shop with pre-tax dollars. Essential for Men is a quality multivitamin from a company you can actually trust. Get early access to their Black Friday sale for 40% off your first month at ritual.com/majority. That's ritual.com/majority, 40% off your first month. Don't miss out. This is their best sale of the season. We'll put the links in the podcast and YouTube description. Also, you're going to be traveling maybe over the next couple of days. You find yourself without a doctor or a dentist. Let's say you have an emergency, a dental problem has happened to me. I don't know what it is. I've been told that when you fly, sometimes creates pressure.
That makes sense.
But how did I find that dentist when I was out of town? ZocDoc.
Whoa.
And if you're getting older like myself, you may realize you need to go to the doctor on a regular basis or more often or once. Who is it I just met? So they haven't been to, you haven't been to a dentist in a long
I
time.
haven't been to a dentist in like 15 years.
Nice.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I got most of my teeth still, though.
Well, ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click instantly to book an appointment. You guys have both, right?
I got my dentist through ZocDoc, my permanent dentist.
Matt has used it. What was your experience?
Yeah, I found a dermatologist through ZocDoc.
And the thing about ZocDoc that's awesome is that when you go on there, it's like one-stop shopping. You can find out, you can book in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty. You can filter for doctors who are near you. You can filter for doctors that take your insurance. You can filter for doctors who have certain attributes that you want, like maybe they got a good bedside manner, or I don't know, that they supposedly listen well, whatever it is. You can see their actual appointment openings. So what you do is you just choose a time slot that works for you and click, and you've booked a visit. All one-stop shopping. Appointments made through ZocDoc also happen fast, typically within like 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even get same-day appointments. I want to thank ZocDoc for sponsoring today's episode. You could stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/majority. Find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/majority, ZocDoc.com/majority. And lastly, we're headed towards the holiday gift-giving season, Hanukkah, Christmas, almost at the same time this year, I think, which makes it easy. Or maybe you just want to give people a gift. This is a great gift. I have given this gift multiple times. I've given it to my own family members. I gave it to my girlfriend's parents. They have a bunch of kids in that family. Aura frames. It will keep your family connected, and it's like a gift that gives them something every single day. They love it. And here's the beauty. You can personalize your gift by adding a message before it comes there. You can preload all the photos without even touching the box.
Yes.
Just use the code. All of their frames come in a premium gift box with no price tag. Obviously, you don't want that. Super easy to use. Let's say you get a family with like 10 kids. Everybody gets an app. You upload the photos. It shows up on mom and dad's frame immediately. Can be video as well. There's unlimited storage. I'm telling you, this family, they have multiple frames in the house. Now they're giving frames to the kids so that they can all just trade all of these things. And if you have parents with a sense of humor or uncle, or
right.
You put memes up. There's all sorts of things you could do.
Lots of creative ways.
Yes. For a limited time, or visit auraframes.com. Get $45 off of Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter. Use the promo code majority at checkout. That's AURA frames.com, promo code majority. Look, this is a huge sale they're having right now. Their Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal is the best of the year. Order now before it ends. Get your shopping done.
Yes.
This will save you so much stress. This is so easy to do. You're looking for a gift for your parents. This is one. And here's the thing. Who knows, what to get your parents? This is one where it's like
easy.
The thought is nice. It's easy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to love the pictures. That is promo code majority, auraframes.com, promo code majority. Terms and conditions apply. We'll put the links in the podcast and YouTube description. All right, let's get in on this. I'm not going to start with this. Actually, we should start with that. This is, what number is this? Okay, so on Friday, as we were doing the show, Zohran Mamdani was headed down to visit Donald Trump at the White House. He's the president.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of controversy about this. Well, in some circles, there was controversy. How could Mamdani meet with Trump?
Well, that's insane if someone thinks that, because
How dare he do his job?
How dare he? This is where Matt said it best last week. We've got to get out of campaign mode and into governing mode. Zohran Mamdani is the mayor-elect. He has to worry about New Yorkers, and he has to meet with the president for those purposes.
There are things he needs from Trump, actually.
Now, look.
Yeah.
There are two sort of major constituencies that Mamdani has. One is obviously the New Yorkers who elected him mayor. For the most part, your average New Yorker who voted for Mamdani was doing so because they want the material benefits that he has promised. And those include, his four major planks, affordability planks, but they also include things like protect the city from Donald Trump.
Yep.
That means, protect folks from ICE, build a sense of community, all the material things that you elect a mayor for, regardless of what, without necessarily being part of any type of movement. Then the other constituency is a movement constituency. Maybe they're democratic socialists. Maybe they're just unaffiliated democratic socialists. Maybe they're SOC Dems. Maybe they're progressives. Maybe they're even partisan Democrats who perceive his agenda to be the way in which they go. So there's a movement constituency and there's a material mayor constituency, and these are overlapped too, and obviously in certain places. And so you have to view everything that Mamdani does through both those lenses, and also understand that from his perspective, I would imagine, and I share this perspective at least, and I'm projecting it on him, that he can serve the movement constituency the most by being successful in serving the material constituency of his voters. So with that said, let's play a couple of clips that show the trajectory of this, because he's going down there. Remember what they did to Zelensky when he came to the White House. I mean, this is just the most obvious one, but Trump is always loving to humiliate people. In fact, he humiliated Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer when they went in for the shutdown negotiations.
With the MAGA hats
with
out
the
there.
MAGA hats out there, and
Or
making
Trump 2028 or something, trying to troll them about him running for a third term.
Yeah, total humiliation.
It's interesting who he respects and who he doesn't.
I mean, F him. Who cares?
But he has a superpower, and that is this sixth sense about marketing and popularity. And he sees what Zohran's got going on.
And who knows if those hats were in the White House meeting, but the question of whether they were going to release those. But here is what people were thinking anyways before going in. Here's Elise Stefanik. I don't think you can find a more grovelly sycophant for Donald Trump. I mean, someone who has literally changed her entire political orientation to align with Donald Trump,
Yeah.
put all the eggs in his basket, essentially.
And he has made her eat shit so many times this year. Like this is like, I mean, with the withdrawing the nomination for UN ambassador and then saying you got to run in this race in New York City and just throwing her under the bus. And I mean, you can intro this here, Sam.
Yeah, well,
it's
that's
delicious.
It. Yes, and understand this is also indicative of what all of the sort of like the MAGA apparatchiks thought was going to happen. In here, let's just hear it.
The president is really kind of setting the table for tomorrow's meeting. Put out on Truth Social, quote, Communist Mayor of New York City, Zohran Mamdani, has asked for a meeting. We're hoping that they open this thing up to the press tomorrow because it could be Pelosi Schumer 2.0 in the Oval Office.
Well, certainly there's always surprises. I think it would be great to have it open for people to see the discussion that happens. My priority is always putting New York first and delivering results to the hardworking families of New York. What we cannot continue to see is this embrace of communism, which Mamdani has brought to the most important city in the country, and really the entire world is watching this. Again, he is going to make New York more unaffordable and less safe. He wants to raise taxes. He wants to double down on failed bail reform and defund the police. And he has made it extremely dangerous for Jewish families living in New York. The fact that he has said he will arrest Prime Minister Netanyahu, that he campaigned with unindicted co-conspirators of terrorist attacks.
I want to ask.
He's made it very unsafe for one particular Jewish family to visit New York.
And okay, so there's Lee Stefanik, and she is planning to run for governor against Kathy Hochul, basically running against Mamdani, tying Mamdani in there. We know that Hakeem Jeffries was going around saying the reason why he didn't want Mamdani to win was because he was afraid that it was going to destroy Democrats' opportunity to take the House, because Republicans are going to run against Mamdani as a jihadist, as a communist. Well, guess who just shattered all of those plans? This is 12, number 6. Yes.
Also,
I'm
remember
sorry. Or you can do 12 too. Go ahead.
You used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would. Especially after the meeting. Absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job. You know, he may have different views, but in many ways, you know, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea, because he was strong on not getting ripped off in trade and lots of the things that I've practiced and been very successful on. Tariffs, a lot of things. Bernie Sanders and I agreed on much more than people thought. And when he was put out of the race, I think quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth, many of the Bernie Sanders voters voted for me. And I felt very comfortable, frankly, in seeing that and saying that. And, you know, it just turned out to be a statistical truth. But no, I feel very comfortable. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting. Yes, please.
Okay. Can you imagine being Elise Stefanik and hearing that? Can you imagine being, never mind Elise Stefanik, every single Republican who is running, and all of them in the House are, who were planning like, this is the party of Zohran Mamdani. Yeah. This is the party of communism. This is the party of Islamofascism. And they're going to,
Laura Loomer has got to be heartbroken.
And over again. Here is clip number 6. Like, specifically, Elise Stefanik was going to run whole hog on this, and she was going to show the way for everybody, across the country, how you run against the Democrat.
You do. I enjoyed the meeting. We had a great meeting. Please.
Mr. President, Republican Elise Stefanik has campaigned multiple times by calling Zohran Mamdani a jihadist. Do you think you're standing next to a jihadist right now in the Oval Office?
No, I don't, but she's out there campaigning, and you know, you say things sometimes in a campaign.
Isn't that sort of
She's a very capable person. But you really have to ask her about that. But I don't particularly. I think I met with I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again. And I can say again, because New York was great. You know, when I came down to Washington.
All right. We don't need to hear him reminisce about New York.
But he did play on. I guarantee you, Zohran played on his New York nostalgia.
Of course. And here's, I mean, this is like the functional equivalent of ICE picking up Elise Stefanik, putting a hood over her head and driving her out into the middle of some desert somewhere and saying, good luck with your campaign.
Right.
Like literally, she has nothing to campaign on now. She has nothing to campaign on.
And he also screwed her by, again, taking her out for the UN ambassadorship. And then she got that fancy apartment. She got her new little outfits. And she was thinking that she was going to be leaning into the pro-Zionist kind of element of her record, because she was leading those committees going after all of those college presidents as well. And then that didn't end up working out. And she was thrown back into her House district, where she hasn't had a town hall in like years or months or something like that. And she thought she was getting out. She thought she was moving on up. And he continues to destroy her career, which is just wonderful to watch.
And this was going to be, as a political matter, this was going to be the Republican strategy for the midterms. It was the only thing they had, right? Because when you run in midterms, particularly when the opposite party is in power, it is all a referendum on those in power. And so Republicans had nothing to run on proactively except to demonize Mamdani and attempt to tie him. Now, whether that would have worked or not, we don't know. But now I can tell you, it is impossible for them to run this play successfully or with the same amount of success. Because if you're running for some swing district in Pennsylvania and somebody goes, are you really going to elect somebody who is from the party of Zohran Mamdani? And this person's going to go like, well, I think, President Trump said this, this is clearly a rational guy who's just trying to do his best. And now the only other part about this that people have to understand is, again, this is, Mamdani was able to do this. I don't think Donald Trump went into this meeting in this way, because if there was any indication that that was the case, we would have heard about it. We would have heard about it. At least Stefanik would not be out there prepping.
He called him a communist 24 hours before the meeting.
Exactly. Like he was getting ready to do a humiliation tour. And Mamdani went in there and said everything he needed to say to make Donald Trump this guy's great. He's a winner. He's very smooth. He's a very good gentleman. But when he's in the room with him, he doesn't back off of anything. Let's do the number one. This is
Zohran didn't back off of one thing, and Trump backed off of every critique of Zohran.
Not just backing off of Zohran's critique. He said, yeah, okay, he can say that about me. Go ahead, watch this.
I'm sorry, but even look at the visual. Trump sitting down and Zohran standing up. Like from the beginning, whoever orchestrated the private meeting before this and then the press conference, I mean, Zohran's team is phenomenal, but this was just amazing.
Do you remember that picture we took in here, that joke picture?
Yes.
With me and with Hassan?
Yeah.
Like, that was a joke. Me going like this. And that's all that Trump was doing the whole freaking time.
I'll see if I can send that.
Go ahead.
To Stephen Nelson, he asked about your comment calling the president a fascist, and your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
I don't mind.
I wanted to ask you also about this Ukraine plan.
Incidentally, he said yes. He said yes.
He goes, okay, then yes.
Okay, yes. I'll take yes as an answer.
And Trump is sincere when he says, I don't care if you call me a fascist.
Yeah. And then later he said something about, he's called me a despot. I've been called a lot worse than that.
And he patted him again.
Yeah. Do we want more? Because
we
I have a lot
more.
to watch into.
Yeah, here's number 3 in terms of like.
You know what we forgot to mention in setup for this is the 86 Dems who voted to denounce socialism.
Oh yeah, I
didn't
mean
bring
that's the
that
thing.
up.
It's like how poorly timed. Well, now of course the Republicans brought that up as part of this. Like this was all part of their strategy. That was not a coincidence that vote took place that day. It was the Republicans are putting that up because they know they're on a roll here. And then all of a sudden, I hate to say this, but record scratch. Like it's
Well, it turns out Trump's only in it for himself, and he kind of doesn't care that much about the Republicans and what they're going to do with the midterm.
I actually think he is concerned, but at that moment, his brain just doesn't work that way. Because I'm convinced within a couple of days he's going to try and come out and say like,
"Oh, he'll say something racist."
Mamdani's a horrible.
Oh, sure, but the damage is done. He's
done.
already undercut their whole argument.
And here is more of Mamdani, not backing off of anything he says. Actually, let's start with 5. Okay, and just how Mamdani sort of manipulated Trump. Donald Trump has praised many presidents in office.
Yep.
Andrew Jackson,
McKinley. I'm better than Reagan, better than Lincoln.
Late great Frederick Douglass.
There is one president who is more clearly associated with progressive Democrats, and Democrats for that matter, than any other. And Zohran is about to make Donald Trump sing this guy's praises practically. Go ahead.
That he did.
And I'll just add one thing to what the president said. Is one thing I also appreciated is in our meeting to appreciate a portrait of FDR and the incredible work that was done with the New Deal, and also in thinking about what it can look like when the federal government and New York City government work together to deliver on affordability. It can be transformative.
Deals.
We have a great portrait of FDR that I found in the vaults. That was missing for years. I found it, and I put it up. He's a
I found it.
Democrat, to the best of my knowledge. He's a Democrat. And when the mayor saw that portrait, he said, "Sir, do you mind if I have a picture taken by that portrait?" It's an amazing portrait. I hope the picture comes out good. But it's an amazing portrait in the cabinet room. So he's a big fan of the New Deal, I guess, and of FDR. Yes.
I guess this democratic socialist is a big deal of.
He took it as a compliment about the decor. Basically, he's like a nice piece of art. That's what.
That's actually mine. I found it.
Yeah.
I love the idea of him rooting around the vaults.
National Treasure style.
When was the last time in a Republican Oval Office that FDR was praised by anybody? By anybody. I mean, and this is the only part that ultimately counts in terms of like the political, materially, we'll see what's going to happen. But as a political matter, this could not have gone better. And here is Mamdani not only somehow tricking Donald Trump to allowing him to praise FDR in the White House, and Trump to sort of backing it up, right? Like,
Well, I think Trump maybe has said one thing about FDR, and he likes the fact that FDR served multiple terms past the constitutional limit.
Both New Yorkers, too.
That might be the only thing I think that he's kind of acknowledged in terms of that.
He's always sitting, just like me.
He's hiding a health condition, and just like me.
And just watch how clever he is. Here's number 4. I mean, look, I'm just analyzing this in terms of like its political value, right? Mamdani needs to be held to account on a lot of different things that are going forward. He needs to deliver the material benefits he's talking about, or he's going to go down as a failure. He needs to do that. But in terms of like the political value of this very brief meeting, and it's Mamdani is now the sort of like the center focus because of the value that the Republicans thought that he was to him, and the value he has to progressive, folks and leftists and whatnot. And so here he is being asked, and this is so minor, but it is so well done. Does New York love Donald Trump? And here is how Mamdani answers it, that both signals like, I'm not going to give anybody a clip that says New York loves Donald Trump, but I'm also going to continue to have like a ding dong over here sitting to my left think that like I'm a great guy.
In a compliment.
Yes, because remember now, the threat was we're going to defund New York's federal money. No Second Avenue subway, no tunnel to New Jersey, no federal other federal projects. We're going to send in the National Guard. And so Mamdani have material reasons to keep Trump happy, or at least feel not personally offended, because that's the way that Trump ends up governing half the time, but also to maintain his own personal integrity in terms of like what he believes in. Not so much like, I don't think he gives a crap as to how people perceived him in this. It's the message he's delivering. Go ahead.
Turning point, one way or the other. It could go great or it can go in a different direction. And I think you really have a chance to make it great. I appreciate what you're counting on.
Mr. President, you say you love New York City. Mr. Mamdani, does New York City love President Trump?
New York City loves a future that is affordable. And I can tell you that there were more New Yorkers who voted for President Trump in the most recent presidential election because of that focus on cost of living. And I'm looking forward to working together to deliver on that affordability agenda.
I got a lot of votes. One more. Go ahead. One or two more. Go ahead.
So there it is. He refuses to say New York loves Donald Trump. He just simply says New York love affordability. And as a factual matter, more people did vote for Donald Trump over an affordability agenda, as opposed to saying like, people didn't believe Democrats.
And that's where we come, like where we can be wildly speculative. But I think Trump's pretty transparent, so it's not that hard to be speculative about what was said in the closed door meeting prior to this, right? Where it seems abundantly clear that Zohran Mamdani went in with like the understanding that this person is, as Kamala Harris said on the campaign trail, susceptible to flattery. And it seems like apparently he actually spoke with Schumer and Jeffries' offices previously because they have experience, obviously, with him. It's the smart thing to do about how you deal with a guy like this. And when Trump brought up Bernie at the beginning, that was really the tell, where it's clear that Zohran Mamdani emphasized the fact that 1 in 10 of his voters voted for Trump in the last election. And then he's going to say this is over a shared agenda of affordability and that we should work together because you made historic gains in the city, and buttered him up in that way, which is true. I mean, he's using the failure of the Democratic Party to his advantage. And the way that the party has treated him has enabled Trump to see him in that light, in the same way that Bernie Sanders was.
As an outsider.
The first event that I ever covered as an intern when I was at TYT, like political event, was seeing Trump at his hotel. And it was right after Bernie Sanders had dropped out. And it was just remarkable to watch him try to fold in all of the rhetoric that Bernie had used in order to kind of manipulate it. Obviously, he's a lying con man, but he says what he needs to say in any room. But he recognizes, at the very least, the power of popular support and what like crowds and energy does. The Trump knows and understands that fundamentally, and so he doesn't respect like the concierge liberalism of Schumer or Jeffries. He knows that Zohran has people power too, so it backs up his.
I'd be willing to bet. Yeah. That Mamdani went into that meeting and the first thing he said, I want you to know that I launched my campaign with a video that I shot on the streets of my my district, talking to Trump voters and why they voted for you, and would they vote for an affordability, and maybe even showed like a clip of it. But there's no doubt in my mind that's the way he opens it up. Like that's why I understand your appeal in New York, and Trump is that's it. Trump sees nothing but like stars.
And who knows?
This guy
where it
really
goes from
gets
here.
me.
Yeah, and who knows where it goes from here? But I do think that like Trump also wants a foil. I mean, this is all reality TV for him, right? And he hasn't had an actual foil in this era so far.
Well, he's not using Mamdani as a foil.
Well, I guess, but I do think that in the future they're going to have some sort of. He thinks that this is an opportunity for good TV, and like he respects the fact that Zohran is good on TV, and they may get along in this moment. But I anticipate there will be clashes later. But that's not necessarily, I think, how Trump views Jeffries and Schumer.
No, definitely not. But
that says everything.
Here is another example of Mamdani saying stuff in the White House that we haven't heard before, A, and B, completely not giving any ground whatsoever in this meeting with Trump and seemingly getting everything.
And you did a piece in all the 9 months around the world. I would like to ask Mr. Mamdani, you've accused the U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about the concern that many New Yorkers have of wanting their tax dollars to go towards the benefit of New Yorkers and their ability to afford basic dignity. And what we see right now is we're in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 school children being homeless in our city. And there's a desperate need not only for the following of human rights, but also the following through on the promises we've made New Yorkers. And I appreciated the meeting we had and the work that we can do.
Do you agree that President Trump did do a peace and work hard to make the peace? Because he worked hard to do the peace in the Middle East and everywhere. Do you agree with that?
I appreciate all efforts towards peace, and I shared with President Trump that when I spoke to Trump voters on Hillside Avenue, including one of whom was a pharmacist that spoke about how President Trump's father actually went to that pharmacy not too far from Jamaica Estates, that people were tired of seeing our tax dollars fund endless wars. And I also believe that we have to follow through on the international human rights, and I know that still today those are being violated, and that continues to be work that has to be done no matter where we're speaking of.
Mr. President.
Good. That's what he says. That's what Trump says. Good. Because you know why? Trump heard nothing after pharmacy, dad pharmacy.
But that was the other part. He 100% just sprinkled in anecdotes about Trump's name being all over the city. And it's so cheap. You know, it's a cheap date. You can say that kind of stuff, and Trump is able to come out of it feeling better about the meeting. And I mean, it's just amazing. It's amazing. It was it really undercut the Republicans, which is primarily what we care about. But it's also an amazing thing to see the way that Chuck Schumer still did not endorse Zohran Mamdani, and Trump is speaking more positively about him than I've seen other Democratic leaders, major Democratic leaders. And that's part of like when we're talking about the Democratic Party not being committed to an authentic democratic representation in its own ranks. It is the fact that they can't even recognize or harness the popularity because they are so bought off in a way that's intrinsic to Trump. And that looks like play acting in a way as an embrace of democracy or a swell of enthusiasm. And Democrats have allowed that play acting to replace an actual democratic responsiveness, which has harmed the party's brand, in addition to committing genocide with it for years and years to come.
Just to give you a sense of what the expectations were of at least the the MAGA expectations of what was going to come out of this thing. And I would imagine also we know the expectation of what the Democrats were because we watched the Democratic leadership vote in favor of the resolution to criticize socialism or whatever it was, whatever that dumb thing was, because they thought their first reaction is always like, we're going to lose. We need to get into like our crouch with our shield up. And here is Jack Posobiec, Bumble Jack, asking a question of Mamdani. And look what he does when Trump basically ends it. Like it's Johnny Ballgame for these people here.
You're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes.
No, to be very clear,
that's what you said.
No, the use of the term was a description of neighborhoods, not a description of intent.
So you intend to tax the whiter neighborhoods more?
No, we intend to create a fair property tax system because we want a New York City that is not only fair and equitable, but also one that every New Yorker can afford.
Well, Democratic Socialist and New York City Mayor
that's not
Zohran
the. Oh no,
getting
there was. I'm
pressed
sorry, there was another clip where we watch him walk away.
Yes, he
That's
got
just
very
on his angle.
disappointed.
Because what happens after that is, and this is the reason why Fox cut this clip, is because Trump starts talking about like how it's important the city is affordable. Do we not have that clip? I thought I put that in.
That's all right. But we can describe, as they're pulling it up, we can kind of describe it a little bit here. There is there's footage of that lingers on Posobiec after he asked that question, after Mamdani answers, and then as Sam is describing, Trump undercuts it as it goes. And Posobiec literally, well, I won't spoil it that much. As
Here,
we
let's just
have
put it.
right now.
Let's play it.
Um,
This is so we'll watch Posobiec. Look at his face. It will show you the expectations they had for this and the ultimate. Yeah, this is it. The expectations they had for this. Go ahead. And ultimately, what happens?
Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I would. Especially after the meeting. Absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I wanted to do.
There goes. I'm done. And that's it for me.
What's interesting in that Fox News clip that we started is that he tries to spin it that he had Mamdani quivering.
Oh yeah, let's hear
during his question.
Yeah.
who says this?
Posobiec.
Oh my God.
On some of his most controversial policies. Let's bring in the journalist who asked that question. Turning Point USA contributor and veteran Navy intelligence officer, Jack Posobiec. Jack, great to have you on the show. You confronted Mamdani today. The back and forth was great. Did you believe it when he said that he meant to describe neighborhoods, not the people?
No.
Well, Trace, not at all. Again, this was his choice descriptor. He was talking about the specific characteristics of white neighborhoods, and he said that we need to reduce the burden on ethnic minority neighborhoods. And Trace, this is the same type of rhetoric that you hear from cultural Marxists on the campus. You hear it from cultural Marxists when they're in the street with Antifa, and now we're hearing it from a cultural Marxist who apparently is going to be the mayor of New York City.
Apparently.
Yeah. Were you surprised at anything that happened today? People were calling this very cordial. Did you think it would be that cordial, Jack?
Well, I wasn't sure how the president was going to play it. I think that, going in, I think we did certainly think there were going to be more fireworks. We thought that there might be some debate going back and forth. But it looked as though Mamdani, I think, was honestly a little bit timid. He was quivering when I was interviewing him. He had definitely not faced that type of questioning before. I think he was intimidated by the Oval Office, and I think he was intimidated by President Trump. And that's why you didn't get this rhetoric like you had before on the trail talking about
what? Genocide? Talking about what? Like, keep going. Let's see what.
And that's why you didn't get this rhetoric like you had before on the trail, talking about defunding the police, talking about,
He didn't do
and
that
by the way,
on
not just going after ICE agents, he's gotten in the face of ICE agents before. And now all of a sudden he's saying you're going to work with ICE. Trace, I just don't buy it.
Yeah, he didn't say he was going to work. None of that.
Everything he just said.
And here is.
I swear he's talking to his girlfriend. I had him quivering.
He was quivering.
Oh
He was
God,
quivering
I was
so
gonna
much that
beat
I
his
walked
ass.
away when Donald Trump said, I'm looking forward to living in Mamdani's New York.
This is the part
My
where
girlfriend and my boyfriend.
just to get the raw footage here. This is the part where he's asked about by Posobiec, and we can see the quivering here.
New York City that is not only fair and equitable, but also one that every New Yorker can afford.
Trump honestly looks. I don't think my father has ever looked more proud. I don't think there's been any more pride. Probably not even anything closer than Trump's going like.
It's because he's good on TV.
All of his
That's literally-
children just said the same thing you said.
That is
all of
all
Trump's
he ever
children.
wanted.
exactly.
Was a kid that was good on TV and quick on his feet, and then he's just got Tweedledee, Tweedledum, and the one I want to fuck.
and that's the thing. Like Trump's like, ooh, that's a tough one. And then if Mamdani answers it like competently, Trump is like, oh,
Okay, he's good. He's really good. Well, here's Donald Trump the next day, of course, in celebration of Mamdani's communism, wearing a red flag.
that DSA
around his,
merch?
yeah,
This is a reference only for you, Sam, but he's dressed like Robert Goulet.
exactly. Yes. He's got his what are those called, ascot on, because he was obviously impressed by Mamdani's style too. Here we go.
Do you still plan to deploy the National Guard to New York City?
If they need it. Right now, other places need it more, but if they need it, we had a very good meeting yesterday. We talked about that. But if they need it, I would do it. Are you willing?
Okay.
Whatever he wants.
Do you understand that, like, Stephen Miller just started to cry when he heard that?
Oh, yes. That's the other person who I'm just so happy is probably upset about this. Zionist, racist, nativist Stephen Miller.
So let's just be clear on this. In terms of constituent one that Mamdani serves, that is the citizens of New York City, he was able, now this may change, but he was able to get Donald Trump to say, like, well, the National Guard thing, we'll see, probably not. And then he also put this up. He also got Trump to back off of his saying he's going to cut off New York City billions of dollars of federal funds.
Oh, wait, people love me there.
Yeah, why would I do that? The people on the street really love me.
Look at the video. They said they loved me.
I saw the video where they interviewed. Do you know my father went to the pharmacy in Mamdani's district?
Daddy.
My father did. My dad did. So there's a connection there. So as a material, matter, he did that. Now, there's also knock-on effects from that. That you've got Hochul now doesn't want to get to the right of Donald Trump and deny Mamdani what he needs.
Mm-hmm.
There's the knock-on impact of this is dramatic. Then there is sort of the movement impact. Now, the movement impact is helped only if all of it's contingent upon Mamdani being able to do what he said he was going to do. If Mamdani fails, we're going to know him only as the example of democratic socialism, of progressivism failing. Period. End of story.
And he's aware of that. I mean, I think that's why we'll talk about the Jeffries thing later and Chiose and what went down with DSA. I did not mean to rhyme that, but that. But he's aware. This is where Zohran's a special political talent. He's aware of the significance of his victory and what it means for democratic socialism in the country.
And so, as a movement matter, and in terms of just the broader politics, we know the Republicans. At least this is what Hakeem Jeffries thought. This is what the Republicans thought. This is certainly what Elise Stefanik was doing. They were going to run against Mamdani. And here is a perfect example of what went wrong for them. This is Todd Starnes. Isn't he from he's from some right wing? Is it the National Review or I can't remember where he's from.
Fox News Radio at the
Fox
very
News
least.
Radio. Maybe he was there.
Yeah.
But
He's with Newsmax.
This is
Newsmax,
like
okay.
an old school, this is a standard Republican.
At 8:56 a.m. on Friday, scenario, Mamdani enters the Oval Office today only to be greeted by Tom Homan, who then personally escorts the communists back to Uganda. And then
Fanfic.
5 hours later at 1:40 p.m., I thought Mamdani was supposed to be a fascist dictator. What the heck is going on at the White House?
Hit him with that Riz.
The only self-identified fascist was Trump, where he's like, it's fine.
That's fine. You can say that. I don't know. It's not a big deal for me.
It's so wasn't he supposed to be the ultimate alpha male, Donald Trump? But gosh, that smile just did him in, I guess. But you see why they are threatened by somebody like this who is strong and unambiguous and has people power behind him, because they can't be the strong men anymore. It's all based on perception, and little weaselly, weak liberals are much easier to bowl over in that way than leftists who stand on principle.
Here is Laura Loomer, also very sort of beside herself.
She knew their relationship was open, but did it have to be him, Don? I said you could hook up with other people, but not him.
We're supposed to approve these first.
Yeah.
Pop this up. What is Elise Stefanik going to campaign on now during her New York gubernatorial campaign, since Zohran Mamdani's policies have been signed off as comfy by the GOP? Notice she didn't say Trump. She's afraid of singling him out. Keep that up there. As comfy by the GOP. Now, what is the GOP going to attack Democrats for if Donald Trump has embraced even left of the Democrats' policies? If they go out and say, this guy's a socialist I'm running against, he's going to go, thank you. This is what Donald Trump signed off on. She goes, are you still running for governor, Elise? Dems just need to run clips of the presser today to defeat Elise. And you know what? Laura Loomer's right. Laura Loomer's right. This is it is hard to imagine Mamdani coming out of this with
A
any
better
more
situation?
benefit. Like I just, and again, in a month, Trump could be like, he's actually, I found out his middle name is Kwame, and that changes everything.
He's a silver-tongued devil.
But this exists. This piece of political weaponry exists in real time.
It traveled. It really did. Just because it's just incredibly funny, and also, I think Trump may retreat once like the charm the charm wears off. But I just do think that like you can't take this press conference back. He's already normalized Zohran and democratic socialism, which is amazing, more so than most of the Republicans and the Democrats in Washington.
All right, just to give you an example to sum this all up before we go to the fun half. Show the picture of me. This was a joke picture that we took in studio where I was trying to show how much taller. I mean, the joke was he was, Hassan he's a very tall guy.
Mm-hmm.
I am not that short in real life.
You're sitting down.
I'm actually crouching, I think, in this instance. But nevertheless,
weird.
It looks like I'm sitting down. Well, yes, I'm doing that for effect. But
We
the
get the
effect being
intent.
like, oh my gosh, look at this guy. And then we see this picture here. It's almost the exact same thing. Whoa, look at how big you are. Wow. Just amazing. Now, the only other thing I would say, and maybe we'll play this in the fun half. Trump never took his right hand off of his left hand. His left hand was over his right hand like this in almost every second of those 25 minutes. There was 1 second where he had done like this, and then he remembered to put it back on there. Even when he was leaning over, he kept that, he was covering that hand. Maybe that's the way to make himself feel secure, or maybe it's a way to cover up that little area where they put in the intravenous treatment. Who knows? I'm not a doctor, so I don't know.
Can't keep my hands to myself.
All right, let's. I gotta hold myself back. I just want to touch him. I just want to touch his shirt once. Just let me just touch your suit. Let me just touch.
What's that made out of?
What
Where'd
is
you
that
get
made
that?
out of? I just gotta,
Maybe the Riz is contagious.
is that a silk tie? Is that a silk tie? I also just noticed that Mamdani wore a blue tie. I wonder if that was sort of like a purposeful contrast. But all right. We're going to head into the fun half of the program. We got to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning and the disarray that we could be seeing in the Republican caucus. She's resigning, not retiring. And supposedly there's a lot of talk that there could be more Republicans resigning. They go home for Christmas break, and it's like, why do I want to go back there? In 9 months,
happened to some kids I knew at college.
I mean, honestly, this is the time. This is like a peak school refusal, as it were. And we're going to talk about the implications of this on the other side in the fun half. Just to remember, it's your support that makes this show possible. You can become a member at jointhemajority.report.com. When you do, you not only get the free show free of commercials. We got a bunch of them. It's an ad dump at the end of the year. Everybody's got to get their budget spent. You also get to I Am the Show, and most importantly, you allow this show to thrive and survive. Join themajorityreport.com. Also, justcoffee.coop. You want a great gift? Give somebody the Majority Report blend. Give them any of their single origin or what is it called? Blends. Coffees at justcoffee.coop. Fair trade coffee, hot chocolate. Use the coupon code Majority, get 10% off. Matt, Left Reckoning.
Yeah, there's a Left Reckoning Sunday show for patrons who support our show at patreon.com/Left Reckoning, featuring Aaron Kowalski from Nebraska. We did the Harvest Report, talked about the year in farming and all the fun that farmers have been having, and his prognosis for what the future of rural America looks like, which is not great. And also, he's got a new lavalier mic, which means that Prairie Fire Nebraska on YouTube is going to see more content.
Whoa.
And he might even have a bigger announcement later in the year, so you might want to follow that YouTube channel for what Kowalski's got cooking.
All right. See you in the fun half.